Hi everyone. Today we're diving into a conversation around AI in fashion, specifically Genera's role in helping streamline production workflows and adapt to this new wave of AI-driven creativity, of course. And today I'm joined with Sophia from Genera, and I'm really excited to get into this conversation. Hi, Sophia.
Hi Sadat. Hi Sadat. It's a big pleasure.
Of course. So I just wanted to obviously speak with you because the fashion industry is investing really heavily into AI right now, but adoption still seems really different from brand to brand. So from your perspective, especially through Genera's eyes, where do you think the industry currently stands and what separates the brands that are really embracing this shift to the ones that you think are a little bit more hesitant maybe?
Sure. Well, I have to say that it's definitely inevitable process for everyone and for the whole industry, and we definitely will get to the point where all the content is created by AI. I know it can sound extremely bold and scary for some people, but we have to understand that from the economic standpoint, yes, there are and there always will be the brands who want to continue be authentic and niche and create everything in the physical way, right? All the shootings they're doing for e-commerce, for marketing and beyond. But again, from the economic standpoint, this process is inevitable, and now we see a gigantic amount of fashion brands, both small, medium, like tier one, tier two, tier three, jumping on this way and this path of AI creation. Everyone has a different pace, I would say, but
And like
again,
approach,
everyone.
some people approach it in different ways for sure, I believe it. Yeah.
Exactly, yes. But again, for everyone as you know, because it's important also to think to think about AI transformation from the perspective of the business owners, I would say. And of course, if you can create at scale consistently an incredible content, which will cost you 30 times less, right? And
Right.
your team and you could do this in like 10 times faster. Obviously you will get on this track somehow.
Yeah, I guess the efficiency is such a big aspect of the workflow right now, is specifically the companies that are willing to kind of spend the 30x, or the companies that are moving with the evolutionary like standpoint of AI and evolving with it or kind of staying back. When you think about the fashion brands successfully integrating AI into their workflows, what does that actually look like in practice though? And what kind of results or metrics would you say are you looking out for and that signify success when AI is integrated?
Of course. Well, I would say that this journey is different from the brand and from the size of the brand as well. And I'll start from
True.
the enterprise, right? Because we actually
Right.
in Genera we've been built for the enterprise fashion brands, and we've been built and we've shaped the platform together with the enterprise fashion brands. And
Totally.
this was our the main foundation, I would say. So right now I can say that to get to the point where the enterprise fashion brand, with their extremely complex guidelines, with their extremely complex rules, and layers of production systems, and a lot of boxes that must be ticked to get to
Of
that
course.
point of creation of the content at scale. They can do it with us. Obviously, they can do it when we are passing the process of very high level customization, and we're doing that. And again, we are our focus, I would say, from the beginning was on the large scale enterprise, because this is was the most difficult and the most ambitious task, and
Of
we
course.
realized in the team that if we could cover a large brand, right, with all its complicated workflows, then we can
Of
help
course.
and we can cover all the smaller and the medium and independent brands as well. So again,
Right.
it's the customization, it's the customization of the workflows, it's treating your client as the partner to make sure that they actually getting to the goals they have. And again, the goals that brands and our clients have is always to go live with the content and make sure that they can actually transition from physical to AI at scale without any problems and without any blockers.
Of course, and I think you bring up a really good point specifically about customization, because I think a lot of people that might not have the knowledge and the education on AI might think that they are held to a certain box, certain limitations. But I think where Genera, where you guys stand out is taking the time to customize that for each brand. Because like, as you mentioned, I feel like big brands have a bunch of guidelines that they have to follow, plenty of things that they have to tick off the boxes to do it successfully. And I think that's really interesting that you guys are working on that. As you've kind of told me about the levels of brands and the enterprises that you guys are working with, obviously there's different scales to those brands. Some are startups, some are already giant enterprises that are existing. From bigger established companies to the newer brands, what do you think are the key ingredients of the smooth, I guess I would say, AI transition? And what are the biggest roadblocks that brands tend to bump into as they transition into that?
Of course, well, that's an interesting question. Well, I would say that, first of all, it starts from the forward-thinking mindset of the executive team, obviously. And we do work with, again, many brands who already have the established AI teams, who are ready to adopt the platform, who are ready to,
really?
dive into the technology, and they are very curious and they really know this topic well. So the transition, I would say, happens in a more smooth way because they're prepared in terms of the internal resources, right? But also we do have a lot of brands who understand that yes, they must start approaching AI immediately, but when we start with the process together, we are actually helping them to understand how many team members they need for the creation, what are the workflows they need to adapt for the creation. So we are helping them, I would say, from the more initial level to start the transition. So it's always different from case to case. I would say that the most the standard approach is always to be for the teams to be extremely innovative. And to embrace the innovation, understand the speed, understand the capabilities, and then we do have incredible results of quite a large-scale brands from day one of the adoption going live within 2 or 3 weeks at scale, go live on the website. For everyone who knows this well, that will be quite a impressive results.
Of course. And yeah, you bring up a really good point in terms of you guys having to adapt based on, first of all, the rates of the changes, the speed of the innovation, and needing teams that match you there, that match the approach that you guys have, which is obviously innovative and constantly moving and constantly changing and growing. And so the teams that can join you with that, I feel like that's where you guys find that perfect middle ground. So what do you think between the more startup groups in the fashion industry comparatively to the enterprises? What do you think differs when you're trying to support them in those changes, and kind of what's the major difference that you see between the smaller partners and the larger partners from a Genera perspective, I would say?
Yeah, of course. Well, in the larger partners, we always have quite a big amount of the approval processes. A lot of departments are involved in that, and again, to make sure that, for example, the content that was created by the platform, which obviously have all the customization in it, all the replication of their very complex guidelines, and all that, but still, there are a lot of humans in the loop who want to participate in the final kind of decision on whether it's whether it can go live immediately or not. And in the smaller brands, what is extremely incredible to witness actually by our team is that the smaller brands can start generating on the platform, and in 3 days we see their websites.
It's already up.
It's already like 50% or 70% of their websites is already created with the Genera. We can see that because we know our AI fashion models, right? That's a different topic. But
of course, you're very familiar with your work, so you know. And for them, the turnaround overall is a lot faster then, compared to the enterprises where it's like it has to go through so many check marks, so many people for it to finally be as a result. Wow, that's really interesting. So I'm sure from a Genera perspective, you have very different experiences working with both. Very, very interesting. Right now in fashion content and amongst the leading brands, what do you think with other AI technologies evolving and other platforms kind of coming out, what do you think makes brands choose Genera specifically, and what really sets you guys apart and what sets your technology apart, I would say?
Sure. Well, I have to say, honestly, and this is an open information, right? And this is something we can share. What's important to understand in this process of the transition is that before the, sorry to refer all the time the large-scale enterprise, but before the large-scale enterprise fashion brand or a group of brands making the decision about the AI, the trusted AI partner to go with on all this whole journey professionally and at scale, they absolutely and it's not avoidable, they must test everyone who is there on the market, because obviously you just cannot bring only one platform, only one company to the table, right, and say this is the one. No, you have to make the review of all of those
the research,
solutions.
the experience.
Exactly. That's what actually that is what the teams, especially in the innovation teams or the AI teams, are now doing in the fashion industry, and we are always hearing the same phrase that, guys, we're tested everyone who is there in the market, and some clients of ours, they are testing 10 different platforms and companies, someone testing 15, because there are a lot of them really, but all of them saying that, like, guys, you're the best, we're sticking up with you. We're hearing that with every single client we have, enterprise client we have, obviously. So thank you. I don't have any doubts that our quality is the best one on the market. I don't have any doubts of that, because again, I see that, I hear that from our clients, which we trust, of course. So that's why I think, again, why? Because we were focused on the most difficult part, is the enterprise fashion, right? And everybody knows how complex is that. So
the scale, the work, the scope of work is massive.
Exactly.
There,
the scope of work and the quality, because if there is one box that didn't ticked, if there is one small nuance that didn't addressed, you just simply cannot go live. So we were very careful. We were building the platform for a year and a half. We have a lot of access to fashion data, thanks to our partners, also large-scale enterprise companies. So we were shaping that together with the global brands to bring this technology up, and it's evolving all the time. We have the massive updates every 2 to 3 weeks on our platform, which is like available, of course, to all the clients, to enterprise, to smaller brands, to independent users, and so on. So I would say it's a race, which is,
Of course. And I think with any technology, especially in such a fast-moving pace right now, it's having to constantly upgrade and update and keep your clients informed as you do those things, because that's something that they will have to implement as well. And speaking of that, is that kind of relationship with clients, the constant communication, is that something that Genera is able to provide as well, to make sure that they feel supported on the day-to-day in terms of just general support?
Of course. Well, again, we're dividing that in terms of the independent users, smaller brands, or large-scale enterprise brands, right? But I will start from the last ones. We do, of course, treat that as the partnership, and we understand that the brands are doing this in the first time. They never done it before. They don't really, no one
Yeah.
really understands how to correctly, build these workflows. So we are treating every client as the partner, and we are sharing their goals as our goals, and we
Right.
are providing the live chat supports, constant meetings. For one brand, with one brand we can have, let's say, 5 or 6 meetings a week, just because we want to keep with the
Innovate with them, of course.
yeah, innovate with them, and like have all this communication. We are actually the part of the team. We always also hearing that from the fashion brands, like, guys, we think that you are part of our teams.
You're with us.
This is exactly, and this is our job to do, of course, because again, the support is the key particle in this formula for them to you feel secured and actually get to the goals they have.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And while we're here and we're speaking about general, I guess, AI innovation that's happening, not even just within the fashion industry, but in general, as the content becomes more common, there's also obviously, we all know, a bigger conversation around authenticity and, I would say, brand identity. So how do you think brands are kind of balancing innovation while still trying to stay authentic? And are there challenges when communicating AI created work to consumers specifically?
Of course. Well, first of all, with every brand, doesn't matter if it's a small brand with a team of 5 people, or it's a brand with a team of, I don't know, 5,000 people, right?
Right.
We start from the customization. So actually, everything that they are creating with the platform for e-commerce, for example, is done within their specific, unique style, specific, unique DNA, and all the visual trajectory they were building so far, or something new that they want to jump to. So it's always we have to understand also that with the AI you can recreate absolutely everything, right? And your specific vision that the creative director, for example, wants to maintain can absolutely be replicated at scale within the platform. And again, for all the brands, for the small brands, for independent brands, for
Right.
large-scale enterprise as well. The customization we're providing to fashion brands is actually quite impressive. And I would say that from a different standpoints, from a standpoint of the AI fashion models, if they want to have their own unique ones, or from the set design environment that they want to, be different from all other brands, or like, have their own visual trajectory there, it's all possible. So uniqueness doesn't go anywhere.
Right, because that is still a human, authentic experiences to come up and creatively direct those approaches that you want to accomplish, but where tools such as Genera more so help accomplish those things in a scale without having to spend 30x or even the time that it takes to put on those productions. So still the creativity has to exist from those people, from the humans, so authenticity gets to stick around through AI, which is, I think, vital, probably.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to say that we have to think of the AI and even the Genera platform as the instrument that can recreate any possible vision, any possible idea at scale. And our job in Genera is to make sure that all the e-commerce, for example, images are generated with the consistency, with the guidelines, with with the legitimate and ethical workflows. It's
Right.
always there. It's not interrupted. So it's like we're delivering the result, but kind of how the brands wants to creatively orchestrate that, it's up to them. What they're doing, they're just providing us with the guidelines and the set design that they want to
Of course.
replicate. And set design, it can contain 50 different particles in the set design, right?
Of course, there are no limits
Yeah.
when it comes to creativity in that approach.
Exactly. So and that's all. Our job is to recreate that again at scale. But how they are witnessing this is completely unlimited, I would say, creatively.
Very interesting, very interesting. And since we're, on the topic of creativity and kind of innovation in that field, looking ahead over the next few years, where do you think AI will have the biggest impact, especially on the fashion industry? And what opportunities do you think brands can take advantage of today if they do want to, get an early start and a head start into the AI world?
Of course. Well, obviously, the opportunities and the capabilities of those brands who started to approach those workflows right now will be completely different from the brands who will start, for example, in a month or in half a year time. Just because to change the trajectory of everything that is happening internally within the teams, you must have some time, right? So the advantage, I would say, the advantage of the brands who already adopted the platform or who are now jumping on this train, for example, it will be uncomparable. It will be really uncomparable, and I have to say that there is always the economic particle in that, which we must think about. The industry
that's a
works
big
like
factor in any level of company. That's, I think, obviously a large factor that you can't ignore. But that's really interesting that what you said about it could be a month, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, and that time period between the people that started then and the ones that will start in the future will still affect, just because AI is moving at such a speed and such a rate that I think it'll still have such a big difference. That's very interesting. And obviously you're someone who gets to speak to some of the biggest fashion industry leaders. You have an insight on that world, not even just the more media forward faces, but the ones that are behind these large teams and these smaller teams. So what do you think you've noticed has been the biggest misconception that you still hear from these leaders that you get to speak with when it comes to AI? And what do you think they should maybe focus on instead? Because maybe they do have these misconceptions.
Of course. Well, what they must focus on, I would say, is they must focus on being as innovative as possible, right? To adopt the technology, to adopt the platform, to start building the teams around that, to understand how they can properly communicate that to their customers, right? And to already start approaching this, because again, first it's inevitable. Second, they simply would not have ability to compete with those who already on track, who already generated at scale with AI, who already getting a lot of advantages from the economic standpoint. So I would say it's always, as in every revolution, right? The more you embracing it, on the highest level. Sorry to say that, but on the highest level, you would be in time.
Yeah, you would. I think do a disservice to yourself if you don't at least educate yourself on the advances that are occurring right now. And I think that's the key, is also just like making sure that you are properly researching that and knowing what are the available options.
Definitely. And coming back to your question about the misconceptions, right? I think that the biggest misconception the brands having right now is that it will all pass. AI will pass. We do have this.
I've heard this before.
Yes. It will pass. We will all get back to the previous workflows with the physical production. Everything will be done in the photo studios and so on. No, it won't. It absolutely won't. And the speed we are witnessing with our clients who are. Unfortunately, I can't, tell to anyone those names.
But of course, privacy. Yes.
Of course, but we are so proud and we respect those teams so much. It's such a beautiful thing to witness that when the teams are actually innovative and fast, and they have this understanding that they must keep with the pace. We understand, because we work with so many brands, we speak with so many brands, we know what's happening behind the curtains. We can really see already who will, take the
Get
advantages,
left
so to say.
behind a little bit,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
who will take those advantages.
Exactly.
Wow,
I
that's
didn't want to
super
say
interesting.
get left behind, but you know what I
No,
mean.
of course, and I think that's been true historically, even with other technology that has come in the past. I think this is just another technology, and I think you made a really good point about people thinking that it'll pass, that it's temporary. When you, by being in the background, I believe you're probably noticing that these teams and these companies that you get to work with, they will never change that approach. They will just keep growing with that approach. So I think that's super interesting. Additionally, just to kind of wrap up, I wanted to first of all thank you for this very insightful conversation and giving us background on Genera, but as well on just AI's impact in the fashion industry in general. Did you just want to leave us with a little thought for the brands that have been thinking about it, want to maybe explore it, but have held back?
Of course. Well, again, as in every new process that we are approaching, it doesn't matter in business and life, right? In this industry or in other industry, there are new things that are happening and that are coming, and I really encourage, and we at Genera, we always encourage brands to not have this fear and to be bold with their decisions, to not overthink how you would properly communicate that. Is it right to go with the eye? Is it right to post with the eye? Everyone will be there anyway. Your customers will love you anyway. Your customers loves you for the clothing items that they are wearing at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
my last words, I would say, and like a recommendation to everyone, is just to be extremely bold on that path, and that just forget about the fear, because that will stop your evolution.
So, additionally, of course, with fashion AI, there's a big portion that involves models, especially in the commerce world. So, how do you go about, customization of models, the models you guys have available in Genera, and the brands that you work with and their approach towards this?
Of course. Well, that's quite a big topic. We work, first of all, we do not work with the generated only fashion models. All our fashion models that our brands and all the users that are working with the platform, all those fashion models created in the ethical and legitimate workflow only. And that's a crucial point.
Wow.
Because I always bring up this example, but it's very easy to understand, is that if someone, for example, you created the campaign, right, for your brand, and someone will reach out to you and tell you, Sadat, I actually looks like this person from your advertising campaign. Prove me it's not me, or you will have all our put you in the legal trouble. You will not have ability to do so, and if your human being, if your synthetical human being was generated in the open source, right? AI model, which is available on the market for everyone. We having a different workflow, which actually makes the process completely ethical, completely legitimate. We're providing the certifications to all our clients that all those models they're using actually was created in the legitimate workflow. We think it's a crucial point. So
of course. Wow, that's super interesting, because I don't think a lot of people know when using other AI models, there is an open source kind of free for all with model generation, and especially as you said, there's a lot of risk for litigation specifically in those moments. So I think that's a big portion of companies to feel protected and feel that they're not putting themselves at risk, is finding companies like such as Genera that do it ethically. So that's very interesting. And when it comes down to customization of models, if I'm a brand and I work with Genera, but I'd like specific models to be used in these generations and scaling with specific faces, is that something that I'd be able to do?
of course, well, we do work like that, yes, and we sometimes some of our brands they request us to customize the AI fashion model, or build from scratch the customized fashion model.
Wow.
That we're providing to them exclusively. very often we do have requests like models with the tattoos, with the piercing,
Of
with
course.
some imperfections, but which are making humans so beautiful, you know. And yeah, we can absolutely do that. And very often brands, they're using it as the brand ambassadors. And anyway, you know, having the model which is like matching your casting idea is something that is very important for them. Yes.
Of course, and I think it has to do a lot with being in the kind of time that we're in now in 2026, where I think a lot of brands understand the uniqueness that is important, and they all have their own approach of these are the kind of models we like to, you know, utilize in our e-commerce or in our marketing assets. So that's very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. Well, also, what is coming, and we're extremely excited about that. Hope my team will not kill me by giving this information right now, but
Okay, we're having a teaser. Nice.
Yes. We are now preparing to launch the feature of the real fashion models, and we will be the first ones to do that at scale again.
Wow.
We already signed with a lot of incredible real fashion models, real human beings,
Wow.
and they will very soon appear on the platform for our clients. And that is, you know, that is our answer on all those concerns about what about the whole industry of the model industry, right? And yeah, we believe that in that way, we first of all can give the models ability to still perform without even being on set, have a passive income, you know, appear on a campaigns for fashion brands, and for fashion brands as well, for those who do not know how to launch with the synthetical human beings, because again, for someone it can be still a tricky topic. They can easily now do it with a real fashion model. So
wow,
we're very much excited.
That's big news. I really do believe that's big news, and it really, as you said, that is an opportunity for both models and the brands to have a new, like, let models be in 30 places at once. They can be in 30 campaigns, where it doesn't mean they have to fly to Milan and only be there and then fly back to Los Angeles. They are able to do so much and kind of be a part of such, you know, massive campaigns. So that's super interesting. Thank you so much for getting into that, Sophia.
Of course, and more than that, if, for example, if you would like to become our AI fashion model, you would always can do that, right? And you can just provide us your likeliness, and like we will just launch your face, your likeliness on the platform for brand. I will do that 100%. So it's something that again, everyone could do in the future world that we are approaching.
Wow, so impressive. Thank you so much for sharing and kind of giving us insight on the background. Thank you.
Amazing. My pleasure.